Hi, welcome to the Village of Buchanan, October 28th, 2025 workshop meeting. And I just want to make an announcement in case of emergency, please use your exit door at the front of the room on your right side, or there's a staircase behind the elevator. Never use an elevator in case of emergency. So please join me in the pledge.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you.
Teresa, Anthony
Yes.
said he's going back to be running late and we're doing over Zoom.
Okay. Okay, so we have a list of discussion items here. The first is Ryan on?
Yes, he is.
Okay, Ryan Griffith on referendum for post-65 entitlement for fire service awards. And if you could please give a review for the audience of what this means?
Yeah, absolutely. So I work at VFIS, Volunteer and Firemen's Insurance Services, and we have administered your LOSAP for quite some time now. The LOSAP is Length of Service Awards Program, and to date, it awards a $20 benefit up to 40 years max for any members of the fire department, volunteer firefighters, that earn a good year of service, which is defined in state law as 50 points. As of now, it would stop at age 65. So at age 65, they what we call entitled. They start collecting their benefit. The Buchanan LOSAP right now stops then at 65. So if they had, let's say, 35 years of service, at age 65, they can't earn those last 5 years. So what Marcus and I have been discussing is adding what we call post-entitlement, which really came out of some court cases back in around 2006 and forward from the EEOC, just saying, hey, we understand that New York set it up that you would define an entitlement age. We understand that New York law kind of suggested that it would cut off at age 65 or whatever you set that at. But the EEOC doesn't like to see us cut it off at a certain age. They like to see everybody have the opportunity to reach 40 years. And so as Marcus and I have been discussing this, we ran some cost quotes of what it would look like to add that. Now, where it's kind of unique is that any amendment to your LOSAP requires a referendum. This is the one that kind of gets interesting. So some plans have gone to a referendum and had a vote. To my knowledge, those have all passed, fortunately. Most plans have not, just simply because if it's an EEOC concern, and let's say you went to referendum and the taxpayers voted it down, then what happens, right? Are you allowed to have the taxpayers say, no, we're gonna do something that the EEOC has deemed age discrimination? But that's what we're talking about adding, just allowing those members to reach that age or that 40-year max, regardless of age. So it doesn't matter if they hit that at 62, at 60, at 58, or at 70, 75, 80. As long as they can earn their 50 points as defined in state law, can they get that year of service? Currently, the plan does not allow for that. And again, pre these cases, nobody in New York allowed for that. We're looking at maybe adding that to Buchanan, and I think really deciding if you guys want to take it to a referendum or keep it as an internal vote.
So what is the cost?
So the cost is just the cost of a year of service. So it's roughly $3,000 per member. What we do is we do an actuarial present value. So it's going to look a little bit at each member's age. So I had sent Marcus a couple examples. So for an age 66 member, that cost would be $3,033. For an age 70 member, it's $2,816. For age 74, it's $2,592. Budgetarily, we usually say about $3,000 per member, because again, it's everybody 66 and up. And then you just multiply that by however many members you would expect to earn their 50 points after age 65. So it just depends on the active roster of the fire department that's 65 and up.
Okay, and I'd like our attorney to explain to us whether it goes to referendum, it's very confusing, and it's really, it's strange.
I mean, and I'm not going to be great help. We went through this a couple of years ago, if you recall. I made several calls to the EEOC because I can't wrap my head around it either. Because if they're dictating that that's age discrimination and they're going to go after us, then we don't really have a say in our LOSAP, right? So it is contradictory, and I don't know how to mesh that either.
So probably the safest way for the village is to do the referendum, but then it's on the village to explain to the residents.
Well, I would
What
do the
the-
resolution, and in it, it
Okay.
tells you, it's very explanatory. It will say, this is what you're voting for.
Right.
The problem that Ryan's talking about, which we talked about a couple of years ago, is that if the village residents voted no,
Mhm.
then they voted no. So then what do? You backtrack and go, well, we're going to do it anyway because the EEOC, or do you wait to get sued? And that's the conundrum that they have us in.
So what would be the point in bringing it to a referendum?
I guess you would hope that the taxpayers would say yes.
Yes, right.
But
Right.
if they
And
say
just from
no,
Yeah, just from both point of view, I speak to a couple fire departments that BFIs gave me. Like you said, every one of them, it passed the referendum, so
Okay.
it hasn't been that tested at this point.
okay.
But for public relations and for public information, Teresa, like you said,
Mhm.
if the board does pass that, we could put it on the newsletter, we could show the link on the website, explain the information. The fire department can do that outreach as well, and we could do it that way and get the information out. And it's not that costly, we have 3 or 4 members who are talking about reaching that age limit who are still volunteering their time. So it's something for the board to consider, and let the public vote.
Yeah, I think it should go to a referendum. I think people should have a voice, but then, like I said, it's up to us, to the village, to explain in detail what it is and what would happen perhaps if it doesn't get passed.
Right.
Then we're in another situation. So it's one of those things, it
And
doesn't make
wouldn't then.
sense, but it's a no-win
Yeah,
situation.
that's a no-win. With the EEOC, you're doing it.
What happens if they say
Right,
no?
or the board can bring it to a resolution.
The residents voted down, let's just say.
Okay, then you don't have it. And I mean, the EEOC hasn't come after us
Right.
yet.
Yeah, but.
But they
what's our
could,
Course of action.
and you lose. You don't have a course of action. If you're going to put it out,
Say, well, the residents voted it down, but we feel that this is something that should be in place and we want it.
but then why would you?
I'm just saying, I mean, who wants to be sued?
Right, right. But I think that rather than putting it out and saying to the residents, well, we gave you a chance, but you voted and we're going to go against you, you probably should just go and not do a referendum,
That's
What do you
sticky.
think?
you know?
Yeah, it's,
I know.
That's sticky.
It's sticky.
Mhm.
And we talked about this a couple of years ago.
yeah.
And the only downside from the village's standpoint is going ahead with it, there's a cost
$3,000 about per person.
per member.
Yeah.
Over age 65.
Correct.
Who
And
meets the service requirement.
That's why you meet the void structure too.
And it's still 40 years. We're not
It's
changing.
still limited to 40 years maximum.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're not changing that.
The issue is people haven't met the 40 years, they're now reaching 65, they can't get additional
Mm-hmm.
getting benefits even though they're still volunteering.
I'm just surprised that they haven't figured out that this is a problem
state-
within
the
the
state-
system, because it's unfortunate, because you've got people volunteering their time to serve their community, and you're faced with this dilemma. It makes no sense.
Shouldn't be
Makes
this
no sense.
difficult.
You would think the state legislature would change the law to allow this. to
Yeah,
happen.
well,
Allow it
Yep.
and just allow it, yeah.
You know what, that's a good point, Marcus. Why don't we write a letter to Harcum and Levenberg, explaining the situation to them, and, that the municipalities shouldn't be put in this position.
Yep,
It just doesn't, it just doesn't make sense, the whole thing.
I'll email them both tomorrow.
Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you.
They'll come in and talk.
mhm.
And so they can put that on their legislative agenda for January.
Exactly.
There you go.
Anything else for Ryan?
Anybody else?
Not on my behalf.
Okay.
Ryan, thank you so much for the explanation. I appreciate all your help and all the information. I am sorry to bother you so much. Thank you.
Nope, all good.
Thanks for your
Absolutely, guys.
time.
My pleasure.
Thank you,
Have a good
Ryan.
one.
Thank you.
My meeting
Thank you.
executive.
All right, next is update on,
Eileen has a question.
oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Eileen, come on up.
Come on up.
Oh,
Oh,
Oh, wait, they probably didn't change.
it's the season, Eileen.
very pretty.
She's looking at pumpkins.
Yeah,
She thinks it's pretty, but it's not
Yeah.
relevant right now.
just trying to entertain the audience.
I'm sorry.
Well, she said it was pretty.
Yeah.
so.
How come we?
Netflix.
Oh, yeah. What movies are
They're
on?
watching Netflix.
So we have to put that.
Just
on-
giving them options.
That's the decision.
They'll hear you guys talking and discussing whether we watch the movie with no sound.
I know, right?
Puts everybody in a bad situation.
It does. It's not,
Something going on.
what if we,
HDMI connections. You gotta call my.
Don't-
I don't know.
what if we just take a vote?
Sorry, guys.
What if we,
It's working on this side.
like a regular
Yeah.
vote? But we have to put it on a referendum.
I'll talk to you in executive session. It's already done.
Okay.
I show you.
By
that,
your
I'll
board.
check the other side too.
Okay.
That's right, don't use it.
And I don't know how, again, Kevin didn't get it to,
Reverse it?
no, he didn't get it to LoSAP. I thought this was getting, you did know that.
It was
Exactly.
something.
Oh, well, there you go. Okay.
I was looking back. thinking, "Who did this?"
This was done under Kevin Hay? And he never sent the,
I thought he did.
The result of the referendum?
Involved with LoSAP here, but then Ryan's on, talking to Ryan, I'm like, what? So I never got that, but you guys passed it, hoping that, oh, well.
All righty then.
No, and it was very explanatory. I read it today. I wrote it. Saying because of the EEOC and contradiction that, what are we putting it to a vote and telling our residents?
Yeah.
You would think that
So
they
we-
would fix
You
it.
know who was on the board? Shulman.
Okay.
And he was a firefighter at the time. Maybe he still is.
You know, I'm just remembering all that. Yeah. Spent a lot of water under the
But it
bridge.
actually sent to the plan sponsor and it gets,
We have a few technical difficulties, so hold tight. We're trying to resolve it. Poor Eileen.
Pumpkins.
There's nothing wrong with the input on this side. This
Okay,
side,
all right, so, okay.
have Mike check it out, so something.
So it won't, sorry, guys. You're okay? Okay. Okay, so the next item is update on grants, including New York Swims.
So, I got our pool consultant, Rich Strobel, on the line, but before we get into the pool directly, just to give the board the update as well as the general public, we've been, for a number of years, I've had on my capital projects, a number of items. And Teresa, I know you've been talking about painting the pavilion for years, the painted the pavilion. George is concerned about the roof of the pavilion. Then we got the wading pool that board agreed to move forward on. That's about $500,000. And then the big pool for years, as the board knows, and I think that people, and Jack is here too, and Randy and Bob, we've been having issues, a lot of issues with the pool on an annual basis. Issue with the chemicals, issue with leaks. In fact, the wading pool had to be shut down because of a major leak that we had a number of years ago, 3 or 4 or 5 years ago. So we got to the point where we've been putting Band-Aids. So when we had the opportunity of the swim grant, as part of the swim grant, you have to detail what is it that you want to fix or repair. So I had Rich, actually, since the water level is low enough now, to camera all the lines at the pool. I'm going to let him explain how many lines there are in there and determine that the pool is a lot worse than I thought it would be. I'll let him explain that to you. But I want to give you the total picture in regards to all the issues happening in that area. I have Randy here too as well to talk about the painting of the pavilion. We've been going back and forth on that too. When you're ready, we can discuss that as well and what his recommendation to move forward to get that done as well. But I'm going to let Rich talk about where we stand with the pool. The grant application is due by the 30th. The grant writer is finishing that application right now. That's an 80% grant, 20% matched by the village. We could talk about the numbers after Rich does a brief explanation of where we stand with the pool right now. So Rich, you're a little dark over there, but I think people will be able to see you.
All right.
Ken, before we start, when was the pool, what year was that built? Was it in the 70s?
It was 70s.
Yeah, okay, all right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
76?
Old.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
all right, thank you.
there. Go ahead, Rich.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Richard Strobel. I'm from Strobel and Sons Pool Service. I'm based in White Plains, New York. I'm in the pool business going on about 25 years. We specialize in large commercial pools. We work for a number of municipalities as well as various country clubs and swim clubs. I was brought in to Buchanan at the tail end of last year. We came in I believe it was August of last year, and we had done some repairs. We had done some upgrades over the course of the winter. We put in a control unit for chemicals. We had changed the DE grid system and updated the DE grid system. We did work to get the pool going this spring. We power washed, painted. We balanced all the chemicals. We got everything squared away for the season. We did develop a leak in early July where we were losing a good amount of water overnight, a good inch to inch and a half of water overnight.
I'm sorry, Rich,
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry. Do you have any idea what that means in gallons? Because I know some inches have not a big deal, but any idea about how many gallons we're talking about?
I would say we were, off the top of my head, I would probably say we're probably around 10,000 gallons, a night.
Wow.
I could give you a calculation.
No, that's fine. That's what these people know. It's not a small leak. That's all.
Not
So
a
is this
small
a
pool.
new leak?
Yes.
Because this is,
It happened
okay.
in- happened
We've
in-
had other leaks.
This was
Yeah.
last year. We had to shut the pool down.
Yeah.
Before the end of the season, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
Correct. It just happened this season. Sorry, Rich, go ahead.
No problem. So this was, to clarify, this was a new leak that occurred, and we put a diver in the water, and basically what we did was we went around to each return inlet, and we looked for, with the system off, we looked for where water was being sucked out, and we found it. We were lucky to find it. It was in the shallow end corner, and when you literally, it was a return line. So what a return line means is that's bringing the filtered water back into the pool. There's 21 return lines throughout the pool. This was one of the 21. And once we found it with dye, we were able to inject dye around it, and we saw the dye getting pulled into the return line. When the system's on, water should be coming out of the return line into the pool. With the system off was when we checked it, the water was actually getting sucked in, which was the indication of a leak. So we were able to unscrew the inlet fitting, which protects the outside of it, the pool side. And we were able to, kind of get an idea of what was going on. We were able to insert, your finger, because it's an 1.5 inch pipe. We were able to insert the finger and literally feel the break in the pipe. And it was a rusty pipe. At that point, we weren't sure what the pipe was made of, but we felt a rusty pipe, and we felt that the break was there. Now, we got very lucky, and I really have to let you guys know that we were able to use a Hail Mary pass, and we were able to get a repair fitting in there that spanned the course of the break in the pipe. And it was a compression fitting. So as you tightened it, it swelled up, and it held it in place, and it also made it watertight. So we didn't lose any more water. So for the rest of the season, that repair held. Now the center of that repair was hollow to allow the water to come out. So we got very, very lucky on that, because if we couldn't have got it, either we would have had to live with the leak for the entire season, or we would have, at that point in beginning of July, shut the pool down, lowered the pool level 3 or 4 feet, going in there, jackhammer out a section of the deck, do the repair, put everything back together, then refill the pool, redo the chemicals, and get everything into place. So we knew, being this repair was done and made and a success, and it got us through the season, which we were very happy about. We knew that this was something that come the close of the season, we had to fix. So with Randy's help, Randy and Buchanan DPW were able to jackhammer the concrete away from the area that had to be repaired. They dug down. Once they exposed the pipe, we were able to get in there and really see what was going on and get an understanding of what was going on. And it was very telling. Once we were in there, we knew the pool was a metal pool, but we never realized it was an aluminum pool. In my 25 years in the pool business, I've never seen an aluminum pool that is in ground. Aluminum is a good material that they usually use for an above ground pool that is not exposed to water. It would be the outside wall of an above ground pool that the liner would protect it from contact with the water. I've never seen an aluminum pool that literally the water is sitting in it. So that was a first for me. I've dealt with steel pools before, but I've never seen an aluminum one. Now, the piping itself was aluminum as well. Again, another first for me. So what we ended up doing was we ended up making the repair. We cut out the corroded portion of pipe. We were able to thread in PVC fittings, and we made the repair out of PVC. Once the repair was made, I had spoken and consulted with Randy and with Marcus. And what we did at that point was I got an inspection camera and we inspected all the other 20 inlets just so we could get an understanding, a grasp of what was going on. Now, the repair that was broke was completely corroded. The aluminum was completely corroded where it made the connection to the pool wall. And again, this is the return line that's bringing the filtered water, the filter and the chlorinated water back into the pool is where it corroded and where it broke. So I was able with the inspection camera to go around to the other 20 inlets, and we were able to get a good idea of what was going on in them. They all showed signs of corrosion and various stages of deterioration. Out of the 20, I flagged 5 in my report that looked much worse than the other 15. They all show signs of pitting. The metal shows signs of pitting, which means it's being worn away. The 5 that I flagged also show signs of corrosion. Now, I couldn't tell you whether it's going to last another month or if it's going to last another couple of seasons, but I can tell you I did see, and it did show signs of corrosion. Now, the corrosion can be caused by a few things. If the water chemistry of the pool is not right and it is too acidic, meaning the pH is too low, the low pH means that the water is acidic, and the acid in the water can literally eat away at the metal pipes. So just a quick Google search I did on aluminum piping for a pool, because again, this was a first for me. And the first thing that comes up is it says, aluminum is not recommended, for pool piping, that PVC is the standard, that corrosion can occur. And, that being said, the pool is from 1976. So, it did last, a good number of years before this has occurred. Now, with my inspection camera, I was able to get in about 2 or 3 feet. So again, that piping runs the perimeter of the pool. So there's a good portion we didn't see, but based off what we did see, it seems that we're seeing the same thing in each of the 20 return lines, that everything is showing signs of corrosion, pitting, and this may just be from years and years and years of, poor water chemistry. So that's about, what I saw when I did this inspection.
So to give the board and the public some additional information, based on the numbers that we talked about, was any replacement of pipes, the County Department of Health requires their approval. But since this was emergency repair, we were okay. The problem is this continues on, the Department of Health might come in and start, Jackie knows, dealing with the Department of Health, what that would mean the moment we do. Now, talking to Rich, the cost to replace those individual 5 inlets would mean patchwork all over the place in the pool. So he was recommending, and I do agree, that we see how the grant goes and see if we get the grant. If the grant comes, it's more cost effective and more, how can I say, it'll look better if we do all the pipes all at the same time. Now, we don't know what happens with the County Department of Health. They might have other requirements at the same time. Rich did include changing the filtering system. The filtering is original from 1976. So there's a way to make it more efficient and actually streamline the process. But right now as well, the lifeguards or somebody that has to turn the water on and off constantly with a big valve. there's no, Rich will recommend an automatic fill system mounted to the water level and stuff like that. So there are improvements we can do to the pool as part of the entire upgrade if we get the grant. If we don't get the grant, then the issue is we have to continue doing Band-Aid works as we see or try to do the work ourselves. So just want to let the board and the public know. But this happened, we were lucky that Rich was able to find that leak. If we're going to find that leak, we'll have to shut down the pool. Then at the same time, every time it's a leak and we fill the water, we have to then create more chemicals because then we have to do all fresh water into the board understanding, which the public understand. So besides the loss of the water that we have to pay for, we have to pay for more chemicals to rebalance it, and then the pool cannot be open until everything balances to a certain level. I'm correct, Rich? I want to make sure I got that correct.
You are correct. You have that correct.
So what I want to ask, because George Palmer is also on Zoom, we talked about this once before, I believe at the sewer treatment plant or somewhere else, George, about lining pipes. Would that be an option for the pool?
Mayor Burgess, Steve. So this is and Rich probably can answer this better than I can. These are really small pipes. And
Okay.
to line them would be probably very highly difficult, if I'm correct. Is that correct, Rich?
That's correct. These are 1.5-inch diameter pipes.
Oh,
They're very
okay.
small end. Normally in the pool we would see a 2-inch. We'd probably see a 3-inch main and probably 2-inch laterals coming off of it. But this is very small, 1.5 inches. It would be
Right.
very tough to get in there and get a lining machine.
And the line run. And
Well, it sounds to me too like they're too far gone at this point.
yeah, and Teresa, just to answer your question too, I actually checked with John, who's our consultant, that's with John Passanstini, who's doing the grant. He said the department would not allow lining on the pipes.
Oh,
either.
okay. All
So
right.
it's a good
It's just
question.
an option,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, so they wouldn't allow it either, but the corrosion on the pipes is severe, and we have
Yeah,
to
well, it's
somehow deal with
almost
that.
50 years old.
Yeah, we got our money's worth out of that pool.
We get our money's worth with a lot of stuff here.
And you mentioned that there was 20 inlets. Is that requirement for that size pool?
Rich, do you hear that question?
Well, the thing of it is when the pool was designed, the engineer who did the design and brought it to the Department of Health, showed it or planned it out with its 21 inlets. For whatever reason, they decided that that was the amount that they needed. So pretty much there is 7 on the shallow end side. There's 4 on the deep end side, and then there's 5 on the two sides. The one by the bathhouse side, and 1 on the far side, and 5 on the far side. So basically, the way they come up with with that requirement is it's based off the volume of water that's coming into the pool. So that a commercial pool has to have a turnover rate of 6 hours, meaning in 6 hours time that every drop of water has to go through the filtration system and has to be sanitized. So I believe we were using the figure of 180,000 gallons was the volume of the Buchanan pool. So in 6 hours, the pump and the filter system have to be able to move that whole 180,000 gallons through. So on the return end of that, an engineer must have done a calculation and said, okay, on an 1.5-inch pipe, we need to have X amount of inlets in order to allow this volume of water to pass back into the pool filtered.
So if we were to replace a portion of the 1.5-inch pipe that, are deteriorating with a larger size pipe, could an engineer kind of develop a different flow so that we, turn over the water in the same 6 hours?
Yes, but the answer is yes, but it's a little bit of a catch-22. So anytime that anything is changed in the pool that is not exactly like for like, the health department has to get involved and an engineer has to sign off on it in order to do that. And
It
it's
sounded
all,
like
Yeah,
that was going to be required either
Absolutely.
way.
Yeah,
Yes.
yes, yeah. Steve is right. As soon as we start changing the pipes to PVC, the county department of health has to review and approve it anyway. And at the same time, we're talking about replacing the filter system. So and no matter
We're not
what,
getting around
right,
that.
we have to get an engineer to look at how we can make it more efficient and maybe reduce the number of pipes. Exactly.
Yeah.
The whole deck will have to be torn up as well and everything else, yes.
And then that gets in the situation, like when does that get done? And like,
Yeah.
not next year, it's, but
Right.
the spring, the fall, because, the pool is only open, what? It opens, say, June, July, August, 3 months.
Yep.
So,
Rich, since you do this, and I know we have to go out to bid, you might not win the bid, and I appreciate you helping us with this. How long would you think if you got approval to do the work that, the filter system or the pipes, the concrete work, how long would that take?
So assuming what we would do ahead of time is we would have all the engineering drawings, all the health department approvals approved way ahead of time. I would say you would shoot to put the shovel in the ground right after Labor Day and come in and work from Labor Day on all fall, all winter, with the goal of opening for Memorial Day, or I believe you guys open Father's Day, or mid-June.
yeah.
We would push for that goal, and I think that would be a realistic goal, assuming that you had prior approval from the health department. So
Right.
you might be a whole year ahead with health department approvals and such. And then once those approvals come through, you would look to start right after Labor Day, September, as soon as, Labor Day is over, and work right through the winter to get everything in and ready.
Rich, will that pool last next season?
Listen, I wish I could pick lotto numbers.
Yeah.
No, I mean, how far,
It's a date to you.
how far along gone is the,
Well, I could tell you, we definitely replaced the worst portion of the pipe that was found, and that was the portion that had rotted out and had the hole in it and created the leak. The others, again, it's tough. I couldn't say. I can't even guess. My gut feeling would be that we go for it. Come Labor Day. I mean, come mid-June, we plan to open a pool, and we just deal with what comes at us. I mean, when we cambered these pipes, we didn't see a hole or something that needed to be jackhammered apart immediately, but we did see signs of severe deterioration. That's on the inside. We till a portion of concrete is broken, you dig down and you see the outside of the pipe, that will tell the other portion of the tale. So it's really hard for me to give you an answer on that.
it's a crapshoot.
So let me, I will ask a question here, Rich. Is it safe to be used? I want to make sure that the public and the board knows it is safe to use. What happens
Safe.
is a leak, we just have to close down the pool,
Correct.
just to do the repair. So
Correct.
it's just a leak of the water. We just have to, fix the leak, and then to put the chemicals in and balance everything, and then the pool can reopen. I hate to say this, Jackie, we've done this almost every year now. We have to fix a problem, close the pool, reopen the pool, and that's the issue we've been dealing with.
So it's time to address the bigger issues. right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We haven't had to close it down. Bob Wheeler would know, every year. It's just this year seemed to be the worst.
No,
Yeah.
we closed it down early last year as well,
Yeah.
like 2 weeks or a week before
Yeah.
the season ended.
Yeah. Jackie would
So
know
it's
better.
it's
Yeah.
just getting worse.
Yes.
All righty.
So is there any direction
No, I just-
regarding the grant?
The idea would be, the grant is going to go in for, the grant, between the waiting, we're also applying for the waiting pool work as well as the big pool. That combined is $1.6 million. Hopefully we either get 20%, or 80% of it, or something nearby. The rest we, the village have to pay for. So we'll know more. And like I said, we'll shoot to open next year. We'll fix anything that happens, and hopefully we get part of the grant and we can move forward. from
And
that
what
point.
does that include beside the wading pool? What is included?
Replacing all the pipes?
All the pipe.
All the pipes, the concrete slab, also includes the new filter system. So that will be the pool itself will stay in the hole,
Yeah.
but we replace all the guts around it,
Yeah.
correct?
And the decking.
And the decking, correct.
So Rich, what you're saying is you basically have the only aluminum pool you've ever seen in 25 years in the business.
Yes, yes.
That
And-
would be us.
And John, all the consultants been doing this for 40 years. He's never seen one either.
What was the thought process back then? I mean, I don't even understand, like,
I don't know.
if it wasn't even commonplace back then, like, was it
You know,
to save
you
money?
cheap.
I mean,
It was a
Yeah.
good sale.
Yeah, I guess. Wow. Wow. Yeah,
So
well,
that's the,
lesson learned, right?
that's the wading pool and the regular. Any more questions for Rich since he's here?
no.
And that would, if we can, we can continue talking on some of the other projects here.
Thank
Great.
you, Rich. You've been very knowledgeable. I
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thank you, Rich. Thanks for all your
Have a
help.
good night. No problem. Have a good night, everyone.
Well,
You too.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. The other thing I want to inform the board, besides the wading pool, the regular pool, the pavilion beams, and also the roof, also, we've had an issue also with the pool house. So I want, Randy, if you don't mind coming up to the podium, Randy has detected some issue with the pool house itself. And also want to talk about the painting of the beams. He has a suggestion on that as well. So why don't you start with the pool house and then we'll do the beams next.
All right. Good evening.
Good evening.
So
Randy.
as far as the pool house, we had a structural engineer, two of them, come and we've spoken to within the last week or two regarding that. Two corners of the pool house is starting to settle a little bit. You see some cracks going through there. We plan on digging up once the second structural engineer comes, one of the corners to check out the foundation more to see what kind of condition it's in itself. And then, we'll go from there. Once they give us a report, we'll have more information on that. The other thing, he said the roof it didn't look terrible. Some of the truss was sagging a little bit, which we've done some patchwork to. We've sistered it up, repaired that, tried pulling it up together. A lot of gusset plates need repairing, so little stuff like that. And then as far as the whole electrical system inside that pool house needs to be upgraded. Plumbing needs to be upgraded. Pretty much the entire guts of that place would need an upgrade. So
When was a roof last put on that structure? Any idea?
Bob?
I would assume when it was built.
We have.
Yes.
It's a structure that we're talking about, not the shingles.
Yeah. Yeah, when we were putting a ventilation fan in there, you could see the truss when we were up in the rafters.
Mhm.
You see the truss starting to sag.
Yeah.
Another issue.
Yeah.
It's falling apart.
All right.
Okay, talk about the painting of the pavilion.
So I had handed you guys some paperwork on the pavilion. So pretty much what I'm recommending is for us to hire an outside contractor to complete the work. As you can see, within the last couple months, my guys have zero issue doing any work. Anything you guys ask for, they got no problem doing anything. This seems to be a little more detailed, and I would say is probably out of our scope of work. So I'd like to read this. So I wrote this up for you guys. Just a little overview, labor availability, time sensitive, stuff like that. So the pavilion is a major asset to the village of Buchanan and requires repainting to protect the steel structure from corrosion and extend its useful life. Given the size and complexity of this project, as well as the timing constraints around the summer camp season, it is recommended that the village hire a professional painting contractor to complete the work. As you can see, our full-time staff, we have 9 of us, including myself and 3 garbage guys. So that cuts it in half. The couple of contractors I've spoke to would use a crew of 10 guys. So
Yeah.
that's even more than we have. Their time frame for completing this task is 4 to 6 weeks, and that's if everything goes perfectly.
I'm sorry, how many men are we working?
So each contractor said they would use around 10 guys. So the pavilion is used heavily for summer camp. That's late June through mid-August. Painting must therefore be completed before or after the camp season. This limits our workable window to spring or late summer and early fall, both of which are busy periods for road projects, mowing, leaf pickup, seasonal transition, everything that we have going on outside of just painting the structure. You have a window between the end of summer camp and Buchanan Day, between Halloween, recreational events, stuff like that. A professional contractor can dedicate a full crew to the project and complete it efficiently with required weather and scheduling window, minimizing disruption on other village operations. So for our technical requirements for this is the preparation is it's gonna be very detailed. Grinding down each one of those beams, wire brushing it, getting all that rust out so it doesn't come through again once we paint it. You're gonna have to do full plastic sheeting and protection around the building, power washing, scraping off loose paint and debris, optional sandblasting for improved adhesion and removal of rust, wire brushing areas. We're putting 1 coat of primer, 2 coats of paint, and that's applied by a brush or roller to achieve proper thickness. When I spoke to a couple guys from Sherwin-Williams, they pretty much, when you're rolling it on, you're gauging. They have a measuring gauge to make sure we're putting on the appropriate thickness for it. So this level of preparation and application requires specialized equipment, safety measures, particularly for overhead steelwork, and experience to ensure long-lasting protection. So it's pretty much my recommendation being being a larger area, the amount of time, our time frame like that. I wouldn't mind. I'd love to do it for you guys, but I think it would be a
No,
tough
and
task for us to complete.
You guys are doing a lot of work and we all appreciate it. But this level of repair painting is not in your wheelhouse. You know, I mean, you did a great job on the garage. They painted the garage, what was it, last week or the week before? It looks fantastic. It's, you know, it was starting to chip. It needed it, but thank you. You did a great job. But this, I 150% agree with you on this. It's got to be done properly. If it's not prepped right, there's no sense in doing it. It'll bleed through. I have been asking for this for several years now. This is important. That pavilion is very important to us. It's one of our best assets that we have. And if we ever lose that, there is no way we'll replace it. I believe, Cindy, were you around at the time? New York Power Authority gave us that pavilion. They built it and dedicated it to the village. And it's used a lot. And like I said, if we don't maintain it, we don't take care of it, we lose it, we'll never. It's got to be several $1 million to
You're talking about a company having a 1-year warranty at least.
Thank you. That's what, yeah, I wanted to
And,
ask on the
I would hate
warranty
to spend,
too.
it's about
Yeah.
anywhere $30,000 to $40,000 material. I'd
Okay.
hate to apply that and a year later be looking at the same. thing.
Yeah, no.
Did we get any like estimates as to, an approximation of the cost to
I've
repaint?
gotten 2 so far.
Yeah.
One's at 265, and then the other one just came in about 20 minutes ago at 179.
Okay.
Which would have to be a bid process to get it
Yeah.
done. So
Yeah, we get
I
it.
think financially we can swing it. It makes more effective work of the manpower. We can bang it out between all the events that are going on. Also, it limits the time that the pavilion cannot be rented or used for any activities as well. I mean, Randy really thought long and hard on this. He actually tried to get as much as to get done, but for the amount of money, we can bang that out pretty quickly. I think it's a good recommendation.
I agree.
Yeah.
I
No, I
you know.
think that's the way.
And since, that's why George is good, because then we can start do the bid specifications and then get the timeline. So George, you're on the line. There's something, if the board is okay, after a meeting tonight, we can start doing the draft RFP, bid documents, George.
Okay, you can do that.
Randy, it's a good report. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, Randy, thank you. That,
Detailed.
Thank you.
And
Well
Randy,
done.
I just want to say something. You guys, you and your team have been going above and beyond. You're doing so much and everybody's working together. I mentioned the painting of the highway garage. You're also working over by Lens Cove. And there's just several big projects. So I want to compliment you and your team. You're doing a great job. Keep up the good work. We all appreciate it. And at the same time, you're taking care of our residents. So that's what's important to all of us.
Absolutely.
We appreciate it.
As I've stated before, with the crew I got, it makes it a lot easier. So appreciate it, guys.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Randy.
thanks, Randy.
And Teresa, talk about Lens Cove, the sign is up. They finished putting the sign
Oh,
up.
yes, Randy, I'm
Yep.
sorry, I didn't. So we had an issue, about a month ago? Somebody decided to run through our sign, Welcome to Buchanan sign over at Lens Cove. So the highway department went over, put up a new sign, but this time it's got a little protection to it. So
It's really nice.
yeah, Randy, I was over there today with Randy. So he kind of tried to position it behind the ballards that are there in that driveway. And then what was really good, he put like a platform around it. So if somebody goes for our sign, they've got to go through that platform first. But it looks great. looks great.
We should know some.
Yeah, I think it's going to stop them this time.
There's a lot more damage
Yeah.
to the car.
Yeah, yeah. So, hopefully people, it's big. People should not miss that. They should be able to see that quite clearly, but I guess the last time they didn't. So, but thank you. That looks great too. Thank you.
So Mayor, also I wanted to know, George is on the line too.
Yes.
Talk about the structural engineer. We actually talked about the structural engineer to look at the pavilion roof.
Okay.
Again, it's original. So I'm trying to get a proposal for them to take a look at that roof and see what that replacement would be. George estimated that number to be about $500,000 to replace that roof, unless we can do some repair work. George, is that correct? Since you're
That's
out there?
correct. That's correct. A few years back, we looked into pricing it. We reached out to a couple of companies, and that's roughly the price we got back.
All right, so that's for that roof repair. So let's let the board know about that.
Oh.
And then the last item, and I know Teresa, you want to talk about it too, the grant for the state grant regarding the old tennis courts. You want to talk to the board about the use of that area? I know we put the grant in for pickleball. I put that in there as a recreation use, but if the board wants to use or do something else, the state says, okay, as long as it's something about a recreation activity. So if you want to discuss that tonight as well.
You brought that up because I had gotten a copy of the projected budget, what you had sent to the state.
Mhm.
100,000 is from, it's a CREST grant. Senator Harkam gives it to each municipality $100,000, which is great because we've done some really good things with that. Before Senator Harkam, and I've mentioned it before, it was the Hunger Games. It wasn't guaranteed you were going to get any of this money. So, he's been fair to all the municipalities, dividing it up and giving 100,000. So I see, the removal, you have different figures, removal of blacktop, equipment rental, asphalt removal, base, material and drainage. And I know at the July 22nd meeting, we discussed what we were doing with the 100,000. It was mostly, we talked about the drainage because underneath we're having an issue with the surface of the tennis courts that they seem to be caving in.
Mhm.
So we talked about addressing the drainage and using the money for that mostly. So, and then we did talk a little bit about what we could use it for. And then I know we mentioned the camp, which is, 6 weeks, the camp, for another space for the campers. There was a discussion on pickleball, perhaps basketball, all these different things. But what we didn't talk about was the estimate of perhaps what the final figure would look like. And when I saw it, I was like, oh my gosh. So I'm looking at a total of $247, almost $248,000 as an estimate to do everything, including the pickleball and baseball, basketball and whatever.
Correct.
So I don't remember seeing this, and we'll have a further discussion as we go along. So yes, so I didn't realize it was going to be $250,000.
Well, just think of all the things that are being implemented
Mhm.
and fixed. None of that is cheap.
Nothing is cheap
No,
anymore, as we've seen with the pavilion painting
Yeah.
that.
Oh.
When we originally got the price on the pavilion, it was, what was it, Marcus, like 100,000?
Correct.
So,
Correct.
as time goes on, things get more and more expensive.
Yeah, the only reason, I don't want to rush the board, but this was a grant that we need to get a determination on in order to get it out.
We
Yes.
decided on doing this for the drainage, et cetera, and prepping and things like
The
that.
state won't
So,
give you
But you
$100,000
have
for the
to
drainage.
include the recreation
That's the
activity.
problem.
okay, so that's what we needed to know.
Correct.
Okay, because that was the original discussion, that we would use it for drainage, et cetera, et cetera. So that was the original.
Right. Remember the discussion that we had was that it had to be used for some kind of recreational activity.
Or we could have used it for other list of things, but
Okay, if you want to
but
do
no,
something
no,
different.
No, we need to get this done.
Yeah.
So moving it forward though, yeah,
Yeah, the board, whatever the
So-
board wants to do.
but I didn't understand that. Because the last of the discussion was, we were going to talk about doing the drainage. So, I didn't know that was not allowed for, I thought it would be because we did use it on Albany Post Road for water issue.
Correct. Remember, but the state came back, did they change the requirements now? Did this year have to, that this grant has to be for a recreation
Yeah.
program?
Well, I
Remember
spoke to Senator Harkam. He said if we couldn't find something for that, we could go on that list.
Okay,
again, too.
all right,
Yeah,
all right.
but
Okay.
this is what the board talked about on July 22nd at the workshop.
Yeah, so if the board wants to change to something else, that's fine. I just want to.
No, we gotta, I think that there's a cutoff on this.
Yeah.
I think, and we're not throwing away $100,000.
No, when is the deadline?
They're asking for.
Yeah.
Yesterday.
Now, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
All right, I just wanted to have a discussion with the board where we were because I didn't realize that this was looking at a $250,000 project and
Yeah, just to let, but
Yeah,
the drainage alone is almost $160,000 just for the drainage. And then any kind of facility, basketball or pickleball or anything like that is another $200,000. That's what it comes out to be. In fact, the number, George, I think the number received is actually lower than George believed. George said the numbers we received from so Randy and I found a contractor that actually is doing for a lot cheaper than George has seen in other places for that number. Correct, George?
That's correct. I think, Marcus, you found a guy who was from Jersey.
Correct.
Yeah, and he wanted to get some work in this area and get a face in this area, so he was going to probably have a more competitive or lower bid than most other people.
Correct.
And I just think back to the pool of how that was built with the aluminum.
Mhm.
But, I don't remember, I have no idea who the engineer was at the time that we had here in the village. But one thing, I can say about George, he, if that came up, he would point that out to us. So when we get these contractors, George, I know you're on top of it and looking at that the requirements with the bidding is, equal in what they're doing.
Correct. And just to make sure, when it comes to the pool, it won't be George, it'll be John. It doesn't do that work.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's right. But on this, if whatever project, what I want to do, George.
With the drainage and
Yeah,
things like that.
George will be doing that. And Randy and his guys are willing to do a lot of the drainage work itself, so we can
Good.
reduce the price of that as well.
And George, we're not going to be using aluminum for the
I
drainage.
think, no.
Probably not.
Probably not. No, that didn't work out so well. All right, thank you.
So wait, so when are we coming back to discuss this issue?
So,
Because we have, the clock is ticking.
Mhm.
I would hate to lose the funding.
so the board is willing to go forward with this I guess we can decide later on. It appears that everybody wants to do pickleball. So, but we need to submit it for the items that we.
So to be totally, by discussing with Sarah Perez from Harkham's
Right.
offices, we can apply for this. It's going to take months before.
Oh, yeah.
If
Oh, yeah. It
If
takes
it gets,
6 years.
if it gets approved to DASNY, if the board wants to change their mind, we could always do a reallocation of the money if we wanted to as well. So if we can just put the application in, the board can always,
Yes.
before we go out, before we do any real project work or bidding work, if the board wants to change their mind, we can do it. Absolutely.
All right, I just myself needed to understand because I did review the July 22nd meeting and it was that we were going for drainage, et cetera, with the grant. So I just needed to get this, and then getting the total cost for the whole project of $248,000. So I just wanted to understand that clearly before we move forward on this.
So that's the plan A, but what's the plan B if this gets struck down?
Well, it doesn't get struck.
No.
Only if the board wants to change their mind.
Right.
The state is ready to move forward. It's just,
They're going to give us the money.
yeah, it's whatever the
Okay.
village votes.
So we just have to dig up some more money from the 100, another 140. Maybe more,
140,000,
maybe
whatever
more.
it is. Right.
Because when you get into construction, it doesn't always, you have an estimate and you never know where it's going to go. So,
And again, just to make it totally transparent, if we go out to bid and a number comes out real high, you can reject the bids and then we can apply to the state to change it to something else as well.
right,
Yeah.
we've done that
Okay.
before. Sure.
Yeah, I think one of the requirements from what I recall from Harcum was to be used for recreation.
As
I know that was a
recreation,
discussion that we
right.
had. We discussed the pickleball court. We discussed that area over there, the tennis courts,
Right.
Right.
possibly even a multi-use, but
Correct.
something. And by doing that, it also required the drainage and everything else associated with it.
Yeah, because that's another ongoing,
Of course, yeah.
yeah, because that's another ongoing situation where every year it requires some kind of,
Right.
Patchwork.
patchwork.
Yeah.
We're putting Band-Aids on stuff.
It's
It's,
another thing that's failing. And like the board can discuss in the future meetings, like we could do a full court basketball court. We worked with Randy, the contractor. You could have three pickleball courts, or you could do 5 pickleball courts. So we can have that discussion. It could be a multi-use facility. You can do half a basketball court. So we can, like Teresa said, you can discuss the uses at future meetings
Yeah.
before we go for any.
But we
further.
do have a vision already.
You're right. You have options.
Yeah.
I was
Okay.
just surprised at the
The number,
$250,000. I was like, well, that's
Yeah, well,
expensive.
Remember,
the numbers get bigger.
Remember what Joyce said for the pickleball courts is $300,000.
Yeah, we had spoken to a contractor
Multiple
years ago.
yes.
Yeah.
It was like over $300,000.
So, okay, I will be in to sign that tomorrow in case you have it with you this evening, Cindy, so that it can be submitted. Okay, I'll be in tomorrow.
And one more
Thank
thing.
you. Sure.
You said we will look for funding. I know that Holtec has proposed to work at Lens Cove and
Mhm.
put the baseball field. What if we redirected that money towards some of these projects? The pool has been at the top of the list when we did the survey during the recreation committee meetings that I had, and we did the survey. The pool was at the top of that list. The pavilion was there as well as the area where the tennis courts are now pickleball courts. Why can't those funds be redirected to the areas that actually the residents said they wanted to see fixed?
All right, I can ask them because, they're the ones that did the offer of what they would do. So I could ask them if they want to do another project if the baseball field does not come to fruition.
Well, we didn't
my-
vote on I'm sorry, we didn't vote on the baseball field. And quite frankly, when I wanted to implement the pickleball activities, I came before the board. AMS wanted to build, they came before the board. Why isn't Holtec coming before the board?
I could ask them to come in,
Well, they
but that
should,
was
because
the
you're
offer
the liaison.
because we're trying to, the reason why this all came up, and they offered to me, they didn't, I didn't ask them about that. And I think where we left it the last time is that we were going to do some borings on the property there. And why they came up with that is because half of the property is their property that they're willing to let us use. There'll be an agreement to use it. So
Which is
that's why they
nice.
came up, they came up with that idea that, they'd be willing to re-put in a baseball field there or a softball or for the little leagues.
It's odd
Well-
because when the survey was done and Lens Cove came up, the residents, 0 of them said that they used that area. But again, they wanted to see the pool upgraded. They wanted to see other areas like the pavilion upgraded. So to me, I know that Holtec owns half the property, but we own the other half. And
Mhm.
they shouldn't dictate to us as a board how that should be utilized.
Well,
I'm sorry, Dan, go ahead.
can I comment?
Sure.
Absolutely.
Because I did make a phone call and I spoke to some people at Holtec, and I'm under the impression that we're not pigeonholed to just that area.
There you go.
So I would be willing to look at exploring other options. We've got a plethora of things that need to be addressed.
Absolutely.
I'd rather see that money be redirected towards something that's on this laundry list. That's my opinion.
Okay.
We've got a ball field over in Peekskill that barely gets used.
Well, the reason why it doesn't get used, their Little League teams folded up. They had no kids
But
that signed up for Little League.
we've got a ball field already down behind the garage.
That has issues to it.
Yeah, and that doesn't get utilized like it should.
Oh.
I just think we should be throwing money towards something that
Okay.
is more fiscally responsible for the taxpayers in what's in front of us. Without the pool, we have no camp.
That's true.
Absolutely.
So to me, that takes a priority. So does the pavilion. Without the pavilion, it's difficult to have a camp.
I agree.
And I've been asking for the pavilion to get painted. It's got to be 4 or 5 years now. So, but I'm glad to see, we hopefully will be moving forward on that.
But
So,
I would like
we'll
to, I would like to,
conversation with
see, Holtec come back with something other than what's over there at Lens Cove as to where these monies can be utilized. That's how I feel.
Well, I think they were very generous in the first place to even offer to do something.
I-
So,
I
I was
totally
very
agree.
pleased about that. So, and we should be thankful.
Well, we are,
They
but
are.
And we are
are also
thankful.
sharing what we feel the residents prefer.
Okay.
And that's based on the survey that was done last year, that was presented here by the rec committee. So,
Okay.
We need to
So
respect.
I will ask them what their thoughts are.
Maybe Holtec can come in and do the presentation.
Oh,
They have money.
Anthony's coming on. Okay.
Anthony.
Yeah,
Anthony
I'm
Capicotti is
here.
on Zoom today.
Yeah, I've been listening to all of this and it's very interesting. I still want to know why they haven't come to the board to actually submit any kind of plans or how much money they're willing to spend, if it's a shovel-ready job, or if we want to utilize our half of the property for a useless baseball field, because we have a little league in the area and it's housed in Seabowl Field in Montrose. So there is no other little league that would actually use that field.
Mhm.
The travel teams that we have utilize our field behind the pavilion. So I really don't understand why we're even talking about a baseball field, and why would Holtec come to us for a baseball field anyway? Where did that idea come from?
That came from them, Anthony. They.
Well, I think they should come to
me.
us and ask us instead of
Okay.
just you.
I will. Well, I happen to be the liaison. They came
Well,
to
I
me.
think the board
and
makes
I
most
brought
of
it
the
to the
decisions
board.
here.
Yes, absolutely. The board makes all the decisions. There's 5 members on the
Not
board.
actually.
As I have been told many a time, I'm only one vote. So yes, Anthony, they did offer that, which once again was very generous of them. They noticed there was no more baseball field there. Very generous of them. They didn't even have to offer anything. And I brought it to the board to discuss. And the last conversation with George Palmer was here. George Palmer wanted to do borings there. That's where we left
We
that
are
off.
not. We
So
are not
now I'm
doing
hearing
anything
something
there.
different. Okay.
We are not.
So
doing
is that what the
anything
board
there.
wants? They don't, I need to get direction from the board. So the board is not interested at all in putting a baseball field at Holtec's expense there. Can I have an answer so that,
I gave you mine.
okay, Dan is a no, or Will is a no? And
It's not,
Steve?
no, it's not a no.
No,
I
no,
want to see
but-
the monies
Okay.
redirected
Somewhere else.
in avenues that
Yeah.
benefits the village.
Okay, so
And
then we're
benefit
not.
all
we're
the
not interested
taxpayers.
In
Yeah,
a
it-
baseball field there.
To me, it's not a yes or no. I'd like Holtec to come before us
Okay.
and
Yeah, give
present
us what our options
their
are.
offer. And we as a board make a decision based on resident feedback as to what the best use of those funds are. Me personally, I don't think, and I said this before when we talked about a kayak ramp, I don't think that's a good property to try to develop at this point in time. First of all, we don't even know where our property line is. So a survey would have to be done. That's the first thing. That we all know the parking lot. We've been talking about the issues in the parking lot for forever.
Yes.
So until there's an actual master plan or there's some plan in that area, I feel you're just throwing money in the river.
There is a master plan. George, right, there was a master plan done years ago. So, but we don't have the monies to really do the whole thing because I understand, God, a couple of years ago, I think the parking lot was $1 million in itself to cap and fix.
Just look at the square foot, just look at the square footage of blacktop you've got to lay down
Yeah.
there.
So then why would we want to assume that liability and that expense?
Oh, Marcus, you had a good conversation with him. That's good. So Randy.
Excuse me? Excuse
oh,
me? What did you
yeah.
just say?
You heard what I said. Marcus.
I
has
had a
been-
conversation with
Marcus has
Marcus.
been
First of
negative
all,
about putting a
that-
baseball field
That
here. That
parking
is
lot has
out
been
there.
a liability. I don't care
Absolutely.
what Marcus thinks.
And
I don't
that's
care what
why,
Marcus
and
thinks.
that's why we did, excuse me.
Well, no, excuse me.
And that's why we did
You-
not
you-
allow, we did not allow.
Who's the
people
bully
who were
now? Who is the
having-
bully
No,
right
I'm not a
now?
bully, Anthony. You have, you're
Okay.
the professional there. Anthony, and that's why when the
I'm the
people
bully?
over at they have their peak skill, whatever festival, that's why, because of that parking lot, we did not allow it. This year, the parking lot did not get closed, which was a huge liability for the village. There were cars that were parked there at night. And they came back, and that's the same night our sign went down. The same night our sign went down after that party. So you're right, huge liability for that parking lot. The board needs to make a decision. How much of a liability is that? And if we all feel that it's too much of a liability, then maybe that lot needs to get shut down, which I don't want to see. But if you want to talk about a liability, now we have it out there in the open. Now we're
Let's
we're
talk
putting
about the
people on notice.
liability. Let's do it. Let's talk
Okay,
about it.
let's
Let's
go.
talk about it.
Let's go.
Go ahead.
It is a well, we just said that.
Go
We had that
ahead.
conversation. Yeah, we just had that conversation.
Proceed with the comment that you were about to make. Please do.
I'm understanding, and I will be straight up with you. I'm
I
understanding.
hope you are.
Marcus was not in favor of doing a baseball field there. Okay?
Anthony, before,
Please.
why does my opinion matter at all? It's a board.
It does make, your opinion does
My,
matter. Yes.
I recommend, my job, which maybe you
Okay.
don't understand.
I do understand
Is
your
to
job.
recommend and suggest to the board.
Yes,
The
you do.
board makes the final decision. Okay, well, you shake your head like, I don't know why you're shaking your head like that. So if
I'm
the
agreeing
board,
with
if
you,
the board, if
Marcus.
the
I'm
board,
agreeing with you.
you're passive aggressive. That's your attitude.
Is,
Like,
oh, okay.
that's
Now,
what you-
wait,
So
I'm
that's-
a bully and I'm passive aggressive.
You are.
Go
That-
ahead,
your attitude
continue.
is.
Okay, go ahead.
My job as the village administrator is to recommend to the village board. The village board makes a decision. I disagree or agree, whatever they want to say. I follow their policy. So if I talk to a board member who's asked me a question, I give my opinion and the board makes the decision.
Mhm.
You can make all the faces you want.
I'm not making a
That's
face.
very
I'm looking
unprofessional.
at
You're on
you.
camera, so you can
I
take it
know
as
I'm on camera. I'm looking at you.
You're
That's
totally
all I am.
unprofessional and
Oh,
they
and
do
you,
their job.
okay, and you're a professional. And Marcus, I think what you need to understand is you work for the residents, you work for the village, you work for the board,
Correct.
and your attitude is, and I'm not going to go any further after this, is that the board works for you. And that's what I have seen. So we're going to stop this. We're going
A board
to,
member work for me.
well, we're falling off. Yes, you do, my dear. Yes, you do. So we're going to stop this conversation.
Delusions.
We're going down a slippery slope here.
Because you make.
And
inappropriate
yes,
comments,
oh, and you
you
don't.
get
Okay,
your
we're going to
way.
stop
When you-
because
we're
we're here
not.
to work for the residents.
You get your way. you
Oh,
make
when I don't get my,
inappropriate comments.
oh, when I don't, and you don't make inappropriate comments.
Instead of-
All right, I'm going to stop because this is not
You
not
need
good
to.
for the village.
You need to.
This is
Marcus,
constantly here.
I have a mind of my own.
That's good.
My decision is
Everybody-
based on myself,
okay,
not you.
So, and my opinions are valid also, and I have a mind of my own, and I should be able to
It's
express that.
inappropriate The way you're speaking.
Oh, and you're never inappropriate.
I am
Okay,
speaking
we're going to
today
stop
and-
now. We're
Yes,
going
let's
to
speak.
stop
Won't
because
stop.
this
You
is
keep
going
going.
down. Well, you're the one not stopping. This is going down the rabbit
Don't
hole,
force me to
and
do
we're
something.
going.
Don't test me.
Are you
Because
threatening
you're
me?
one-
Are
no.
you threatening
I'm
me?
threatening you that I will
Okay.
not stop.
Okay, then don't stop. Then it's
No.
whatever you want to
You
do.
need to be more
So this
respectful.
is, oh, I need to be more respectful.
do.
Okay,
Yes, you
well,
do.
yes, you're so respectful to me. Yes, indeed. So anyhow, we're going to try to move on so that we can take care of the business of the Village of Buchanan, because that's
Oh,
why we're
dear
here.
God.
So thank you.
So where are we leaving this going
So
forward?
I will.
Are we bringing
will either
Holtec in?
bring Holtec in, or I will ask them. They have been very busy, Dan. The people that speak for Holtec, there's two of them now that are in Michigan. They will, they pulled one of the head guys from here, a couple of the head guys from here, because in Michigan, the plant will be going live again. And we should be so lucky to have that happen here, but we've had pushback from the anti-nuclear people once again. So the people that normally would come in to present to us, so we're probably looking at January. I will mention that to them, and if they would please come in to have that discussion, that would be super.
I think it would be great because then we could make an educated decision based upon what's in front of us rather than just pigeonholing ourselves into one aspect of this is it and this is what you're being given.
All right.
But Dan, you said that you spoke to someone and they
did.
said that we're not bound to one thing.
I was under the impression in the discussion that I had with the individual was they were looking for a shovel-ready project that didn't require a lot of engineering, that would benefit the village, and it was them making the offer in good faith for all the years of us hosting them
Yeah.
as a nuclear facility.
And
Dan,
Entergy
did you have
was
that
also
conversation with
generous at the
Marcus?
time, too. Yes, Anthony, I'm sorry. What
Did
do
you-
you?
Dan, did you have that conversation with Marcus or was it?
No, I
actually
did
somebody
not.
called it? Oh, so somebody
All
else had
right,
that
so
idea.
Anthony, please, let's not make a federal
Wow.
case out of it. This is what I
No,
heard,
it's
so I'm
really-
just
it's really called
expressing
about
what I heard.
transparency.
That's all. Yes,
Transparency.
oh, let's not start with transparency,
Let's
Anthony.
start with this
Let's
because
not
you
start
are having
with
meetings with
transparency.
Holtec.
Oh,
and-
no.
and
Anthony,
you're
I'm the
not-
liaison. You even said
The
at the
what?
last meeting, you don't
What did
even
you
know
say?
what a liaison is.
I don't, because you don't say it right.
Liaison, what?
Oh, now I know what you're talking
What,
about.
six
Okay,
of
good.
one, half a dozen the other. What is it, Anthony? You
It is
told
what it
me at the
is.
last meeting, you don't even know what that is.
I don't know what it is.
Based on
I
your
don't because
definition,
you,
It's just,
your,
it's
your
a
definition
go-between.
of
That's
a
all it
liaison,
is.
a liaison
And
is different
I
than
bring
everybody
the
else's.
information back to the
Oh,
board.
please.
All right,
That's
so
But we're not,
all.
that we're going to bring Holtec in.
There you go.
Okay, that's it. And you're
Okay,
going to
and that's
send
it.
the-
That's
Absolutely.
There
as
you
a
go.
member of the board, that's all I ask is that we bring it in so we all hear what they're going to propose,
And you know
rather
what?
than one individual.
I would like to think that there's so many things going on here in the village that not everyone is privy to. And what the board should really be concerned about is different things going on with the different developments, and you don't know half of what's going on. So that's a problem, guys.
Confusing.
That's a problem.
And so what are you
What the-
insinuating?
What do you
So
insinuate?
what
That's
happened with
exactly-
AMS? What happened with AMS? They're moving along. After they got things done, then they come to the board, the last meeting, then they come to the board for
With all due
approval.
respect, that
Those
was
are field
changes.
decisions.
Field
It
They
changes.
had
doesn't
no
matter.
requirement whatsoever to come
You
before
are
the
the
board.
lead agency. You should be informed before things are done. This
They had-
board took on the responsibility of lead agency, and that has
They
not,
were
they have not been.
required by other agencies to make
in the
those
field.
field changes.
They should have
They had
come.
no requirement whatsoever to go before our board or any board.
Let's talk
whatsoever.
about transparency then.
Our hired consultant gave them the go-ahead to do that because
Third-party
he is
vendor
our
that we
field
hired.
agent. He's our
That's
field
nice,
agent.
Anthony. We are the board, and you all decided
But you
wanted
can't
to be
start
lead
you can't stop a
agency.
project because
You
you need to make a
wanted to
field
be lead
decision.
agency,
But the
and you
New York-
find
And I
out
still do,
after.
and I have no
get
problem with
that.
any of
I
my
get
decisions.
that.
Two
I
of us
get
You don't
that.
even
were made
understand
by
what that
state
means.
agencies,
I
which
get
we
that.
have
What
no
about the rest of
oversight of.
them? What about the rest of
So
them?
then what is the problem?
What? Nothing now.
Made by the
It's done.
state. Who are we?
Right.
to
So
intervene?
there were other
We couldn't
changes
change the
made.
DOT. We couldn't change the health department and what their decisions were.
Well, were you aware of it until after it was done? No.
We
So-
didn't have to be made aware of it, and they came in here out of a
God.
courtesy.
Agency. You're the lead agency.
no requirement.
You're
What
the
does that have to
lead
do with
agency.
anything?
Obviously,
What is-
nothing.
What does that have to do with anything when it's in the field decision? We hired a consultant to
I
make
get
those
that,
field decisions.
Anthony.
No, you don't get it. You
all
absolutely
wanted
do
to
not.
be the lead agency.
But that
Most of the
doesn't
time, you
matter
have
in the
no idea
field.
what's going on over there. That's all
Oh,
I'm
you
saying.
wanna
That's
bet?
my
I
opinion.
can tell you I know a lot more than you do.
Okay, okay, good. Are we done now so we can move on?
I don't know how we got from whole tech to that, but
I don't know. Right down the rabbit
Apparently,
hole.
we have
can
no idea
ask
what's going on.
Whoever doesn't
Yep.
know about lead agency, you can ask them.
Yes, indeed.
That's how we
because
got there.
Y'all voted about it. Okay,
Y'all.
so
It was your idea.
now, no, it was not. Sean Murray and I were on this board. We were completely against the village board being the lead agency. It should go to the planning board because they're trained and they have experience. So that's what I'm saying. Alrighty, so building inspector, Mr. Peter Cook is with us this evening and he has some recommendations.
Before that,
Oh, is there? My goodness. Oh, the cell tower. Yes, another one of my favorite items. So where are we with the cell tower? Because I have so many people asking where we are with it because our service seems to keep getting worse here in the village.
the contract is still working with Verizon and AT&T finalize it.
Okay,
So the contract and our consultant, Mr. Comey, has modified the lease agreement in order to give him a little more time to finish the negotiations for you to sign, if you wish to sign it.
yes, I'll do that tomorrow. So Verizon and AT&T haven't jumped on board
That's
yet
correct.
for our thing. Okay, all right. Do they have any thought of how long it will take?
They thought they would have a signed agreement by now. It's Verizon that keeps on delaying a final decision.
So how long will it take for it to be built?
I can get an answer for you.
Yeah, no, just curious. Once, so we're waiting for the agreements and after that,
They will have to come in from the village board, because there's a whole section of the cell tower. They have to go in front, I think they have to go in front of the planning board. for-
okay. Well, that would
Yeah.
make sense. That
Yeah.
would make sense.
There's a process they have to follow.
And we talked about location. Are they putting it back where the
Off the road.
other company in that area, where the other
Where
company?
the
Okay.
village board originally was
Yeah.
looking at what's off the road.
Yeah, because there's power there.
There's a whole section of the code about cell tower. I think it's planning board, the village board has to
Okay.
review it. So if they sign a lease agreement, they'll go to the next step and actually file an application with the building department.
All right, good. So maybe we'll see that within the next year. Peter, are you ready?
Yes, Mayor.
Okay,
Evening.
thank you.
How is everyone tonight?
Super.
Great.
Thank you.
Okay. A few items were brought to my attention. There was an issue about excessive light glare exceeding a property line and just upsetting neighbors around a particular property. It was brought to my attention. We did discuss light glare a while ago. We had other issues, but they seemed to stop. We haven't had any problems in quite some time. But it resurfaced again. We have noise and dust nuisance code, but we don't have anything about light nuisance, meaning excessive light coming from one property over the property line and upsetting neighbors. The village of Irvington had code drafted for light nuisance that I was involved with, and I did present that once prior. But the issues seemed to stop when I discussed it with the owner that was causing that problem back then, and we didn't discuss it any further. But it's been brought back up again, so I'm discussing again adding a light nuisance scenario to our nuisance code for dust and noise to try to stop this. So the warning would be acceptable for the first offense, we'll call it. Second offense, Irvington has a daily fine of $50 a day. I think we should be probably mirror all of our nuisance fees and regulations to be similar. We have a warning, and then we have a $250 fine for noise. So someone's emitting the light, causing a problem, the warning, and then if they do it again, it's $250. I'm suggesting that's what we
Okay.
have.
Could we also get a copy of the Irvington?
Yes,
um,
yes, I
code?
can,
Send that to the
I
board.
will email that all to you tomorrow. So that was just something to possibly add to the code with our noise and dust nuisance, okay? That would be good for that. Another issue was brought up about an intersection corner lot having hedges that appeared to be high. Our code references two different height references for yard screening. Yard screening is bushes, shrubs, walls, hedges, fencing, any type of screening. We have a caveat in our code that says if there were to be the edge of the road or curbing, that a 6-foot clearance from that location, we could have a corner lot could be 4-foot screening. Okay. Under state requirements and any other application, if it's a corner, you have to be 3 foot high within 30 feet. But it's that 6-foot step back from the edge of the road and or curbing, existing curbing, that it was brought to my attention that someone could not see getting into an intersection and they almost had an accident. I went to that location. I used the village electric car, which is very low to the ground, and stopping at the correct line, I could see completely past the hedges in question, all the way up past a block and a half, almost 2 blocks. So I didn't see what was
So
being
you're not
complained
seeing
about.
That
Yeah.
the hedge is an issue, but I think if
Yes.
cars are parked there, that would be your sight distance block.
And again, the cars would be pretty much on the same plane of the hedges at that point, but it's the opposite. I think we have we put in spacing from stop signs and things not to park X amount of feet from, but this was the opposite side of the street for that. The hedges in question have been there for as far back as I can Google Earth, the village of Buchanan property there.
Yeah.
If they were to be less than the 6 feet though, the 3-foot height should apply, but they're not. 3 foot, with a 4-foot item, you do impede your sight distance. But in our code, we have it states for that intersections district, no obstructions to motorist vision can exceed 3 feet in height from above street pavement level, and nothing shall be erected or maintained on a lot within the triangle formed in the 30 foot. So it's 30 foot from both corners and connect the line. So nothing could be higher than 3 foot in that. But then our code goes to say all corner lots are deemed to have 2 front yards and therefore subject to the 4-foot height restriction. So the code contradicts itself. But again, I think the caveat of the 6 feet from the edge of the road and or curbing dictates that 4 foot is not a problem. If it were to be less than the 6 feet from that, 4 foot is a block. That's how, so I'm trying to, I would like to just state that it should be 4 feet. You know,
Okay,
for-
even on a
for-
corner lot.
Corner lots, as long as it has that 6
Yeah.
foot setback.
Okay,
I don't want it, now the village has a right of way of 50 feet, which basically
from the
means
center line.
from the center line, you have 25 feet. Where the curbing or the edge of the road falls out in that isn't always exactly the curb or exactly the front yard. Some people have no footage left. Some people you have to go 10 feet into the yard. So I don't want to base it off the village right away if possible, because if you have a curb and it's existing, whether the road dictates what the property line is, it's still village right of way.
Yeah.
But 6 feet back from the intersection edge or the curb with a 4 foot hedge or screening doesn't impede the vision that I could see. So I
Okay.
don't think 4 foot is a problem as long as it has that setback. If it's less than that, it has to be 3 feet, because then you do impede the motorist.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Did I
So,
explain that correctly?
so
Our code is saying 3 feet
3 feet,
and 30 feet
right.
on a corner, but a corner lot's allowed 4.
So how can we clean that up?
Well,
Peter?
what I'd like to
Because-
clean it up is I'd like it to be the 4 foot, but I'd also like to add the 6 foot caveat that we have mentioned earlier.
6
for-
foot from the
because
edge of
the
road.
6 foot allows, no matter what, allows for snow and
You're
garbage.
right, you're right. Okay.
And again, the village right away allows for the future sidewalks and connectivity. That's why we can't have things in there. But as far as some of the residential streets, but curbs are existing or we have an actual curb that's there, if it's 6 feet back from an intersection on a corner lot, I cannot see any impedance of the view to cause any type of issue. So yes, I know it's a little strange in the code that it says 3 foot, 30 feet, unless it's a corner lot. But again,
That's
going
a-
back to the 6 foot setback, I think that the 4 foot is fine.
It's
that
got
I
to get
could see.
cleaned up.
Yes, I just think it's a
Okay.
verbiage issue to be addressed.
Okay.
The property in question, having to alter those hedges down to the 3 feet, it won't be good. It won't look good. It's going to ruin them. They're going to die. And again, it doesn't impact the view that I could see. Sorry.
No, you gotta write it up. Okay, go to the next one.
Yeah, okay, so that takes care of
Okay.
it. As far as building on the fee schedule, for building permit fees, we have a lot of projects coming up in the future, with other properties to be developed. I'm having a difficult time with the costings of certain jobs based my experience as a contractor. Most projects have a square foot pricing based on the area they're located in and the quality of the build, from a low build, medium build, high quality build. And I just want to try to establish some type of precedent for a costing based on other municipalities, how they have come up with costing for projects. If projects come in and they're valued much less than, what it could be, I think even basing it on insurance replacement value would be another way to take a look at the value of what we're being submitted.
Well, that's exactly what happened to me. I had a renewal on an insurance policy on a commercial building.
Yeah.
And it's here in the village. It was, what the insurance companies are estimating right now is $168 replacement cost per square foot,
I just.
which makes, it's probably there. They're probably spot on.
There's like I said,
For
other
commercial, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. commercial, Tarrytown has an interesting aspect of what they just put into their
Oh, yeah,
submission.
Dan would know. I'm sorry, Dan. He's our
I just-
insurance
You
guru.
know,
What about residential? Do you know, is
Much
that
more,
different?
much more arbitrary, depending upon the
Depending
quality
on
of the
what's
build,
involved.
what goes into the house, whether it's
Exactly.
got high-end, whether it's plaster walls,
there's a lot of other variables
so
involved.
many other variables.
I just don't want to,
Older
Except-
homes are more expensive to rebuild.
I just want to make sure that the village is receiving the correct amount of funding for permitting for certain projects.
Okay.
That's all. I'm not, for the future, other things coming up. I could send the information for Tarrytown for you to review also.
Yeah, no, that would be good. Everybody could look at that. You know what I want to ask you about? So when you were talking about the light trespass and glare.
Yeah.
Are you talking about like, the lights, like security can't, like the security lights, like
There's-
when you pull in your driveway and they stay on for a few minutes?
No, no, actually, it's actually it's measured by what is called a foot candle.
Foot candle.
Yes.
Yeah.
And in the,
Those are bright.
yeah, a foot candle is a measure of light by distance. And just like sound, you have so many decibels from something. Foot candle measures how much light is emitted. And basically Irvington worked that into their code of how many foot candles measured from, the residents from a property line. They have certain parameters. And as simple as it is, there's applications that go on the phone that measure foot candle, that you could actually go and see. But again, most of the light issues we've had, they stopped, and we just had another recent one. So I don't know
I
how the
think-
board would like to address, if we want to add that into the nuisance code as a problem, or not. It's just.
Yeah, I
objection.
recall discussing a couple years back, and I remember one of the questions, how would it be monitored and how would it be enforced?
There would-
Measured.
Yeah, there would have to be a complaint, obviously.
Yeah.
Whether it's, they call the police or the building department.
Police,
Somebody has to go see it.
It's only, yeah,
And
you're not
then-
going to be.
But again, if it happens at night and in the morning it's not there, I can't,
Right.
there's certain things I can't actually witness.
Yeah.
But there are specific tools for that. I don't know. I'm just
I think we
trying.
deal with it. The police department responded to our complaint and they were willing to deal with it. The problem is there was nothing in the code to
Right.
do an enforcement.
Right.
So I think the police department is knowing it's affecting the neighbors' quality of life.
Mhm.
So I think we write something up for the board to discuss. It has to be a public hearing and a discussion for the future.
Right.
So I think it's a
Yeah.
quality of life issue. I live in Peekskill. We deal with that all over the city right now. So it'll be good to see it.
So this light what was it from? The light? That was a
I
complaint.
believe there was an outdoor event in a front
Oh,
yard,
okay.
a
So it's more
volleyball
of a
event
floodlight.
that
Yeah.
we've all
Okay.
dealt with prior. Lights were hanging, and there were stanchion lights that were quite bright. They were not permanently mounted to a residence or a house to say, on our last adventure of discussing this, lights were anchored to a building and tree, and I made them shroud them and direct the light to the ground, and everything seemed to stop at that point.
So they were like floodlights or.
Yes, excessively bright floodlights. Yes,
There's daylight at night.
yes.
Interesting.
On the building permit fees, the board wanted to discuss that. That will be just a motion by the board added to the fee schedule. The other two items will be local laws and public hearings. So just to let you know.
I think the light, I don't know whether you actually wrote the law or not. I know we went down the conversation.
No, I think we
Twice a
had the
time.
discussion. I don't think there was ever a
Discussion,
law.
but
but
It
we drafted anything.
faded out
There's
as
the
we
noise that we
we
addressed.
Dealt
discussed
with.
it, and
And then,
the problem was addressed. I addressed the owner that was causing that issue, and they stopped it.
Okay.
And then we haven't had a problem up until
now.
just now, and it's been over a year and a half. About a year and a half, I think.
I guess we have to address it. So yes, that's. All right, Peter. And then you're recommending for building permit fees, you're going to have the recommendations for us.
I'll submit the Tarrytown layout to the board to review what they put into their code. And again, that's more northern Westchester as opposed to further down county. I'm not trying to go lower Westchester. I'm trying to be reasonable.
That's the Wild Wild West down there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
The costings are slightly different.
Yes.
by
Yeah,
lot.
by lot.
Thank you, Peter.
Thank you,
Thank
sorry,
you.
yes.
Is George Palmer still on?
Yeah, George, I wanted to
Okay.
bring another
Okay.
topic up unless
All
you
right.
have something real quick.
I wanted to
Yeah.
talk about the WQIP and the WIA and the
Okay.
energy.
Before we do
market.
that, if you don't mind,
Yeah, yeah.
for Randy. Randy and George have been talking about doing some curbing around Village Hall. Of the contractor that has finished the job on Church Street, we have some money left over. So the idea was maybe do some curbing around Village Hall where the blacktop is actually separating into the grass area. So George Zone described it and Randy actually pointed it out. So I think it'll be a good way to save our blacktop a little longer. Correct, Randy? Come on to the front, come to the front. And then George can provide some information about the contractors.
It's a couple things that'll tie into this. It's the edge of each side of the parking lot. We'd like to shape that up with curbs. A lot of it's deteriorating, breaking off. We'd like to get rid of those stop bars. And then we get an excessive amount of water that rushes off that hillside, that washes off that hill. We've backfilled it we've been doing that for years. backfilling.
Where is this? In the
This is
back
down
Right, yeah,
area?
under that big tree as you
Yeah.
exit.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, you'll just see total washout there constantly. So we'd like to start preventing that, just try to make it look nicer.
So just put curbs on the exit out.
Yeah, so alongside PD, all their parking spots, and then by Marcus's office, wrapped around, tied into the entrance there.
And George is an engineer on the stormwater, so we can actually control the stormwater as well. George, want to explain what your concept is and how we can fund this?
Sure. As Randy had mentioned, we want to eliminate the stop bars, the constant maintenance. He has to take care of them every spring because the plows hit them and whatnot. So as Randy mentioned, Marcus's office side of the building and then the PD side. The money we have left over from the Church Street project, we are currently at, the project was 471,000. It came in at 458. So we have a little bit of money left there. Roughly $12,000, $13,000. And that's roughly what the curbing is going to cost. It's going to cost a little bit more than that, probably like 16 or 17,000. So with a few extra $1,000, we can put the curbing in. We can put some topsoil behind it, and we can put some drainage behind it to help guide it away, to stop that puddling that Randy was talking about. And that's pretty much it. So a few $1,000. If the board could approve something like $20,000, just as kind of a cap to do that, then we can probably move forward with that. Probably in the next few weeks before winter turns, because the contractor's pretty much done on the site up there. He's got that one item to address that the board mentioned at the last meeting, which was the asphalt, and that's pretty much it.
The asphalt on the, by the wall on Henry Street and
Yeah,
Church.
Yeah, we looked at that, and that's actually what you're seeing there is the driveway further up. That's on the corner is eroding out, and there's a lot of debris coming down from that driveway. So we have to do a little patching at that driveway. That should stop the debris from coming down, and that should address that issue.
Okay. And then Gallagher Street, any update on the curbs and some of the things that the previous contractor
Sure.
had issues with?
The contractor, Westchester Hills came back. They did some repairs. Some of the repairs they did the prior year held up. They were fine. They patched it. Some of the repairs they didn't hold up. They patched it again, and probably should go through another winter cycle and see how it holds up and go from there. I know the homeowner there is not accepting of a patch, but it's a cosmetic issue. It's not a structural issue. So
Okay.
that's what we've done in the past with other contractors. So that's,
So we'll still withhold the money, and if in the spring, it's necessary to repair that, dig that out and do it? Because I know we patched it last year and it just didn't matter. It's still,
yeah. So like I mentioned, some places it was perfectly fine, and two spots right in one person's driveway, and the next driveway it didn't hold up, but we did it again. So the real test is winter. So if it holds up through a winter, it's probably going to hold up.
all right, well, let's see what happens.
So going back on the curbing, since the board meeting is next week, if the board want to do the change order for the curbing, and then George can write a memo to the board and you can approve it at the next meeting, and then the contractor can start to work immediately.
And I think that's a good idea, because that whole area next to the village hall there, there's houses behind there that gets very wet and marshy back there. So we don't want our water going on to other people's property, even though that strip of land is village property. Still, it's right behind the neighbors there. Okay, yep, I'm in favor of that. That works for me. We good to put that on the agenda
Sure.
to approve? Good, thank you. George, I know you've been working on it. I've spoken to the DEC also about the monies for the sewer treatment plant. I was in contact with the DEC because I was concerned about the WQIP grant, which is now 5 years old. I was afraid, if we didn't start using that, we'd lose it. And what they told me was we have a contract with them. It expires May 9th of 2026. So we would have to start drawing, I believe, the money from there by May 9th, 2026. So that's the WQIP. The Entergy money, I know, I believe you and Marcus have been on trying to deal with them for the last 8-9 months of how that money gets released. Any updates on that?
So the DEC indicated to us that NYSERDA is now in charge, or is in charge of the Entergy money. We call it the Entergy money. Now it's going to be called, I guess, the NYSERDA money. And they gave us a contact. They reached out to them. I forget the person's name. And they're going to get back to us on what we need to give to them. So, and the DEC signed off on all our, DEC and EFC signed off on all the paperwork we gave them. They just have to have NYSERDA approve what we gave them. So that's where we're at with NYSERDA. And then we are drafting a letter for, they did say, draft a letter, give us your reasons for request an extension. So we're going to request an extension. And we're going to say that, due to this process of NYSERDA or Entergy money going back and forth, we request an extension. Just the amount of time, I guess we would request for a 3-year extension and send it off to them.
Yeah, because I know there's been a lot of back and forth, at least 8-9 months, and everything that was required was given to them. And now the new caveat is NYSERDA.
NYSERDA.
Okay. Okay.
So-
Okay. Well, we'll just keep plugging along, George. That's all we can do.
Yep.
Thank you. The other thing is, do you have anything else for the board while you're still on?
I do not.
Okay. And that also includes the WIA money.
That includes, well, the WIA we got in 2024,
Right. That one's still.
and that one's in place for 5 years. So
Okay.
we're just requesting an extension for the WQIP to match up with the WIA money, to match up with the Entergy money, which shouldn't have any timeline at all, but we'll find out if that has anything, any strings attached to it.
And then when we get this money, we have to put a request in for reimbursement, even though that money is there. So Marcus knows, we have to keep some money available so that we can keep the project moving forward until we get the reimbursement.
All right, the reimbursement process, yes.
Yes, yeah.
And then
Nice
agreements,
if they gave us the whole $10-11 million right up front.
would be.
That'd
it's-
make
it's-
things easier.
Yeah, it is reimbursement, so you have to put money out first, and Marcus has been in touch with, always asking about the cash flow and how it comes in, and they've always said it's only 2 or 3 weeks once the process is approved, but we haven't gotten to the end of this process. That seems to be the problem.
Okay. All right, well, it's moving along. It's moving along.
Yes.
All right. If you have nothing else for us, does Marcus, anybody have anything for George Palmer?
Thank you, George.
All right,
Thanks,
George.
George.
Good night. Thanks for
Night.
tuning in.
Thank you.
Okay, I just have a few announcements. Town of Cortland, the Veterans Ceremony is on November 11th, 11 a.m. I will repeat that next week just to remind people, and that's at the Muriel Morabito Center at Westbrook Center. Also this year at the high school, they're going to be having on November 15th. I have the flyer, so when Sharon comes back, if she could please put that on Facebook for anybody that's interested. That is the Veterans Fair High School at the high school, and it's in support of all active military veterans and families. It's from 11 to 2, and it says learn more about careers, education, community resources, managing finances, benefits, health, and wellness. So it's a really nice fair for our veterans. And it's sponsored by Cortland Regional Veterans Committee and Hendrick Hudson High School District. So that's a really nice addition there. Field of flags. I spoke to Randy about the flags. There are more flags coming. I should have them tomorrow. We are still, I've been in discussions with Dan. Dan wanted to be involved. So we'll have more to discuss probably next month, but I think we've found someone to make the plaques. And what will happen if the residents want, they will buy the plaque. It's their plaque. It'll have their name on it, their years of service, whether they were in the Navy, and what their rank was. So, I'll be working with Dan on that. Let's see what else. I did have something else. What was it? One of the things I'd like to bring up is, and hopefully next month we can have Dave here again. And I know we had a discussion about it, but I just didn't know where we ended up. I'd like to still continue to have a discussion about the waterfront property. We do have the local waterfront revitalization program that we're waiting from the Department of State to hear back from them. We've had some comments from Certainteed about our LWRP, which, thank you for your thoughts, but the board will have further discussions on that. I don't believe in the end, if the board is not satisfied with the LWRP, that we have to vote for it. We don't have to approve it. So more to go with the LWRP. Certainteed had made some recommendations to change the LWRP, and but it's fine. Anybody can make recommendations. I'm sure Holtec will also feed into that eventually.
Mayor,
Yes, of course, yes.
Just want to make sure the public and the people making comments, during the LWRP process, all public hearings are supposed to be held. So they have opportunity to speak there. I think he's being premature writing those letters directly to the state.
Absolutely.
There's a process that they should go through, but I want to make sure the public, as well as Certainty and anybody else, that there'll be a public hearing process. They can file comments at that point, and like you said, the board can decide to make changes at that point as well. Thank you.
So we're not done with that yet. So it's not, as they say, a done deal. So, one of the questions I had was, have you heard any more with the proposed development by Lents Cove? Is there any other conversation with that?
No, nothing yet. There have been no discussion with the consultants or anything. Oh, I'm sorry. Going back to Dave, you want Dave to come to the workshop or to the next week's meeting?
No, I think it's a
The workshop?
workshop. It's a workshop discussion. Is that okay with the board? I mean, I'd like to discuss the future of that property, but not only the future of the property, we can have a discussion on what we would like to see there and what we would not like to see there. There has been some comments about AI. So I don't know. I think it's a conversation that the board needs to have.
All right. So for the workshop?
Yeah.
Okay,
please.
I'll
Yeah.
ask him to be there as long as everybody else.
I'm fine.
Workshop, okay.
Yeah, just we'll have a little chat about that. And I think for now, that's it. All right. Steve, what do you have for us?
Just as you had mentioned, Certainteed, I know back a couple months ago when we had Buchanan Day, there was talks of the donation that they would make. Have we received any funds from them?
We have not.
We have not.
And it doesn't mean we're going to get them either. I have paid for all the expenses. So the contractors, the vendors will not be out of money. So we are waiting to see if they will pay. But that's, whether they pay or not, is not going to change my mind on the issue of them paying for their fair share of, we've had the conversation, Steve, the whole board's had a conversation for quite some time about the road and the impacts, and we had requested from.
No, I understand that. I just want to make sure, because I know I made it a point a couple of years ago about the fact of receiving funds as donations, that the board properly receives and accepts those, takes a vote on it, and it does the proper change. So I just wanted to make sure that, if that
There
was,
could be a conflict of interest there.
yeah.
So when the check comes in, then we can present it at that meeting that it's received. Okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have not put in any for any reimbursement on that.
And just one other thing too, I know, I watched the planning board that occurred last week. I know from watching that some of the planning board members, including the chairman, had quite a concern about the verbatim minutes and how the minutes have changed recently. And I just want to make it clear that that was a change made by this board. It saves the village probably thousands of dollars, certainly an enormous amount of man hours. So while it may be an inconvenience to some, it really, it's a service that's being used by municipalities all throughout Westchester. It saves the village a ton of money. Cindy, a ton of hours.
Yeah.
And so appreciate the planning board working with it. It won't be perfect at first, as we can see, but I think it's a good service and it saves taxpayers a lot of money.
And I think what the big concern was the amount of pages and paperwork. And, I honestly, I don't think anybody's going to sit and read through the whole thing.
No, but the video now is a way to look at the meetings, and then if there's an issue, you have the minutes so you could go back and you can read them. I don't know what the planning board is doing, but I know with this board, we've decided not to have those minutes printed because the packets were, this thick, but at least we have them to go back to digitally.
How many pages, Cindy, like if we printed them out? Couple hundred? That's why I said I don't see anyone reading every page, but you're right, Steve. They could look on the video and then they can actually.
Okay.
No, that's a lot. That's
Yeah.
paper. That's a lot of waste.
That's all I have.
All right, thank you. Dan, what do you have for us tonight?
Just an update, Marcus, if you could, with
Marcus.
the Blakely Avenue project that I brought up that's abandoned over there, that's in disarray.
For the public and for the board's point of view, Dan, thank you for bringing that up again. I actually reached out to the town again, and they were very cooperative. They actually agreed immediately after my last phone call to them. They went and they cut all the weeds.
Yeah, I did see
grass
that.
back. They boarded up the building, and actually told me that it's going to be on the next in-rem sale. So they're going to maintain it from that
Oh, it
point
will?
forward.
Okay.
Yes.
And do they have a date on that, or?
Now, it's probably in the new year, but they don't know exactly
Okay.
when that's going to be.
They're
But they got,
usually in the spring
yeah.
when they do their.
yeah. So the good news is they better drive by. They cleaned up a little bit, it's boarded up, and it'll be on the market soon.
All right, and then,
I'm so grateful.
one last thing, I just wanted to mention the passing of Chucky McGuire. He was a longtime resident of the village. He was a past aide to the Grand Marshal in our St. Patrick's Day Parade, and he was a lifetime member of Cortland Engine Company, and he epitomized what the definition of a true volunteer is. He gave countless hours to that fire department. And there will be a memorial service in his memory on the 8th of November, which is next Saturday. I don't have the time. And my understanding is that his ashes will be put in the memorial there in front of the firehouse.
Oh, that's nice.
So I just wanted to mention that.
Wow, okay. We did a moment of silence for him last.
Well,
night.
I think we should,
Okay.
on Tuesday, we should,
Yes, please.
yeah, please, if we could have a moment of silence in
Okay.
his honor.
Sorry, I thought we did two of them last week and we missed Chuck. Okay, if we could, yeah. Dan, please remind me on that.
Eileen? I don't know the exact address, but if you go past, it's the house next to the old Stellato house. So if you go past McHale's entrance on your left-hand side, it's probably the next house. It was the green.
Yeah.
Likely, and it's all
It was
boarded
the,
up.
it was the, like that yellow gold color with the green trim.
Do you know,
The old arts and crafts house.
do you know, Eileen, the road that goes up to the gas, their pigging station, for a better word, it's two houses before the pigging station.
Correct.
All right,
14.
Randy knows.
The man, Randy.
Yeah, Randy knows. Okay, thank you, Randy. Okay, okay.
I like to say
Okay.
something.
Oh, no, yes,
Oh,
okay, go
okay.
ahead, go ahead.
So I'd just like to provide an explanation as to why I wasn't here at the last two meetings. In the September meeting, I was Zooming in. Unfortunately, my brother passed away. He was a substance abuser and it caught up with him. throughout that time, I was also going to the doctor. I don't remember if you guys remember, there was a day I had a coughing attack here. It didn't seem right with me. I always listened to my body. I went to the doctor and they found that I had an aneurysm in my chest. And that needed to be addressed ASAP. This is why I have this here. I have stitches on my neck. And I didn't want to spook the audience. But I've been in and out of the hospital for the last couple of weeks. I am finally on the mend. And I do want you to know, as crazy as this may sound, as the liaison to the schools and to the police department, I maintain contact with the chief as well as the superintendent. I have a few things coming up that I'll share at the next meeting.
Good. And I'm
Thank you, Will.
Thank you. Well,
Glad you're feeling better.
I
Thank you.
did not know what had happened to you. No one, I had a resident come in and told me that you were ill and in the hospital. So
Well, everyone
I'm glad to
here
hear.
reached out to me, and if they didn't get in contact with me, they spoke to my husband. And I did reach out to all of the residents that were lovely enough to reach out to me and send me cards and things like that. I am very appreciative of the connections that I've made, even though I've only lived here since 2020.
Yeah, a lot of good people here in the village.
Wonderful,
Yeah,
wonderful,
Good people.
Yeah. A lot to be said about that.
wonderful.
And Anthony, are you still with us? Do you?
Is he on?
I am.
Oh, there you are. Okay.
Yeah, no, Wilda, I hope that you are on the mend and you are feeling better. I'm sorry to hear about everything you went through. I know I think I texted you and tried to explain a little bit of contact, but
You did.
I'm glad to see that you're back and you're on the right track.
Thank you.
As far as everything else, no, I'm good. I'll be there. I'm sorry I wasn't able to make it tonight. I'm worked late and I'm very dirty and I didn't want to come into the meeting 20 minutes late covered in asphalt. So
But
how
you're
you doing
still
today?
here, Anthony.
I'm here. So
Yes.
I will see everybody next week. So enjoy your week.
You
Oh,
too.
and I'm glad you said next week. We are not having a meeting on Tuesday. Tuesday is a holiday. So next week's meeting will be on Wednesday. Same time, what do they say? Same time, same bat
channel.
station,
Bat
bat
channel.
channel? Okay. So, yeah. So just want, so Eileen, we don't want you to show up here on Tuesday. Oh, all right. All right. Stephanie, do you have anything for us?
Sorry. Will. Sorry. I can pass along a resolution that we did several years ago with
Okay.
respect to what we were talking about before, which was LoSAP post 65. I don't know. I'll send it to you and then we can discuss. But I think it's out in the open, right? We decided to do that because of the issue that the EEOC was randomly going after fire departments for not doing it.
Mhm.
And so that actually has been in place. Kevin Hay was here. How long have you been here?
Oh, my God.
He's 5 years, 2020, he came in.
And somehow I guess it didn't get to our
Ah.
plant sponsor or anybody else.
So would we have to make another resolution or?
Yeah.
Couldn't we still use, we couldn't still,
The resolution's still valid, or have to reapprove the resolution?
I don't know.
Because you gotta go referendum anyway.
I would think if it was passed, it was passed.
No, we decided in that, forget about the referendum because our choices were going to the referendum. The village residents said no, and we say, thanks for voting, but
and
we're
here
doing
we
it
are.
anyway.
Yeah, and here we are with the same.
So we sort of took the road that a lot of places are doing and not going to referendum.
Just doing it as a resolution on the floor
Makes
to
sense.
avoid
It
the,
does make
yeah.
sense.
absolutely.
The only, I guess the only discussion that was had was that it does cost the residents more money and they didn't vote on it, but that's the way we went and we have it in effect and it was unanimous. I can send it to you.
Never got back to PFI.
No, until we started talking about this, I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
We already did this.
Remember,
Oh.
yeah,
That was before I was on the board then.
yeah,
Yeah, I think I saw Sean was on. I think some of your other people, Nick maybe.
yeah.
It was
Wayne.
Kevin. Kevin was the administrator who was to forward it. Well, anyway, I'm not going to go.
So it was sometime in
So-
2020.
But I think we can talk to your person now.
Yeah, and
Um,
send the resolution.
yeah.
To make it effective, if the board is okay with it.
Right. I mean, you're the new
Absolutely.
board.
I mean, if it
so-
was passed as a resolution,
Nothing.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
It takes hold, that's like, okay, cool.
Yeah, it's just one.
I was going to recommend that anyway, but just privately. But it doesn't matter because this is the way you have to do it.
It's
Either that or
easy,
you're
that's the
going,
easy way.
it's the easy way. And if like we said, if the voter said no, you do it anyway.
Yeah.
And that's the quandary that we've been in for 10 years or more now.
Well, maybe in the next session, the legislator session, maybe they'll address that and then we won't have that quandary.
I've called,
problem.
I've written,
Yeah, that's a
You
shame.
can't get, and the EOC actually has phone numbers
They-
where
they
you
want-
leave
they want
messages and it
trust.
asks, who do you want to speak to? And you leave it and you get, and especially when I was, specific about it. It was like, I'm in a quandary here. I'm the village attorney and dead silent. So, but anyway, you do have it in effect. And so I guess we can
Okay.
just move that along.
Okay.
Yeah.
It is good. That's all I had.
Okay. Marcus, what do you have first?
Just one item for executive, personnel issue.
Okay, all right. Stephanie, any other personnel issues? Do we?
Yeah. Then I'm aware.
Yeah, can't think of
I can't
anything
think of
else. All right, if not, then next week, we can, have a discussion at next week's meeting if we had any other personnel. Any comments, from the floor?
I got three things tonight.
Okay.
First, I was wondering what your research came up with.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you,
Oh,
but you.
Eric Van Cure,
Thank you.
255 Westchester
All right,
Avenue.
thanks, Eric.
You said you were going to research if they could sell directly or not?
We need a survey. We need an appraisal. And if you had more than one person interested, then they couldn't just sell to you. They're obligated to take the highest offer. If you're the only person that's offering and nobody else wants it, then they can sell to you directly.
Okay, because I did the research
Okay.
and I printed it out for you and for her.
And just to give it the board up, they're based on the direction, I actually have the surveyor doing the survey
Thank
as
you.
we speak.
Okay, so the
Mr.
survey's in motion.
So we have a survey, we should have a survey in a couple of days. As soon as we have that, if I have proper direction from the board, the next thing we'll do get an appraisal, if that's what the board wants to go forward with. And then we'll have a price that we can go to the next step, if that's a good direction of the board.
I'm fine with that.
Okay,
Or emailed.
okay.
I can send copies to the other
Yeah,
board.
Could you please?
Yeah,
Thank you. I
yeah.
want everyone to have.
Or
a
I can
copy
just
of
print
that.
copies and bring them over.
Okay. Probably easier to
Email.
email that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How far do I have to walk over?
That's true too. You're a stone's throw away. Yes, literally.
I get home before any of you leave the
Get to the
parking.
door, right?
Okay.
Hey, whatever you're comfortable with.
Yeah, you get, everybody's email, you get email to me, I can forward to the board, or all the board's emails are on the website, whatever you prefer.
I need the exercise.
Okay. All right.
All right, so what's number two? You said you have three.
Yeah, number
things.
two, the centennial.
Yes.
We should have a time capsule.
Yes. Good suggestion.
Dan, that's for you.
Okay.
Yep.
And number three, which I think everyone will agree on, if I didn't see the planning board, I wouldn't have had this idea. For the time capsule, we should commission someone to build a mini replica of gallon measure in order to store the time capsule.
Uh-oh.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Put that on the top of the, where it is, and then put
Put
the
it
time capsule
inside.
underneath. Oh, inside. All right.
To store it.
The thought.
And then you could let that be like a memorial somewhere in the village.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, because at the last planning board meeting, my understanding is that the oil can most likely will have to come down.
Yeah.
That's been here for a while, but it's, it's one of those things. Peter,
Oh,
did you
No,
have
I'm
something?
good, Mayor, thank you.
Yeah, I guess in their plans, they're proposing to take the oil can
Yeah.
structure down.
But if you had just a small one,
All right.
Thank you.
that's it.
All right. Thanks,
Thank you.
Eric.
Thanks, Eric.
Thank you.
Oh, and Mayor, before we close, if you don't mind, a real quick comment. It reminded me, based on the board's discussion, just for the public information, the village, the zoning board and planning board is not being filmed. They're on YouTube, they're on the website, on the planning and zoning. So I'm glad you brought that up. So the last planning board meeting is out there for the public to view. Gallon Measure did their presentation. There's a public hearing next month on it. So if people are interested, they'll say what happened with Gallon Measure. And the zoning board, if there's any meetings, that'll be on YouTube and on the website as well. So I will thank the board. I think it's a good event, so people can see what's happening in their village. Thank you.
All right, sounds good. Any other comments from the floor? Everybody else is shot. Okay.
Oh,
But you don't want to make it. Okay, maybe, oh, you won't be here next Wednesday. Okay, that's all right. So, I'd like to make a motion, if there are no other comments, I'd like to make a motion to go into executive session to discuss personnel. Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Leave that on for the